So this is gonna be part two, part one. So what if deku was in Pacific Rim? We zoom in to see a boy by the age of 7. He was sitting in his room, staring at a blank wall. That's when he hears the door now turning. It was his mother. Izuku, honey, get ready. We have to leave soon. Sorry, mom. His mother and father was in a hurry. They were late to his elder sister's graduation from the pilot program. After all, they both were pilots. They didn't want to miss the big event. Izuku slowly rose from his sitting position, him walking over to his bed to see a clean pair of clothes, a green jacket, black pants, and his favorite red sneakers. Him putting them on slowly. He walked out of his room, deep in thought, wondering how long it would take his father to get ready, him betting with himself. That's when he bumped into his mother, her picking the boy up and started rushing towards the door. He looked around the house, searching for his father, and spotted him in the car. He would usually be the last one out the house. His mother quickly locking the door behind her, rushing out towards the car and putting Izuku in the back seat. Before rushing off towards the cadet training facilities, hopeful to be in time to see their daughter graduate and become a Jaeger pilot. Uchiha outshined his little brother in everything, mentally and physically. He was even better looking. He was even the better looking twin. Well, she was the better looking twin. Although Izuku outclassed her in terms of the better quirk. His sister had fire manipulation quirk. She was able to manipulate fire. A combination of his mother and father's quirk. Her mother's quirk, his mother's quirk was able to pull and push objects. His father's quirk was fire breath. Izuku, on the other hand, had a different case. He had a mutation, thus gifting him IT. It had two functions. First, gifting the boy photographic memory. The second function was super intelligence, thus making the boy the smartest among his peers. And it only made, the older he got, it had only made the quirk stronger. So, hold on. You see a car parked quickly and a family of 3 come, rushing out to the building, and they had luckily arrived on time to see the graduation. A few names were called after one rang out that they were firmly knew. Izia Midoriya was called, to the front. She quickly stood up and went towards the stage, the front of the stage. She had quickly gotten her reward and walked off. The family in the meantime had been clapping ferociously for their daughter. Izia grew a big smile seeing her parents here. She went to sit with her parents. Mom, Dad, you made it. Couldn't miss her daughter's big day. Yes, honey, couldn't imagine it. She grew a big smile and saw her brother smiling, a rare sight indeed. She walked up to him. Little Izuku seems proud of her big sister. He gains a flushed face and quickly stares away. That's when he feels a hand ruffling his hair, only to stare up and see his big sister giving him a warm, comfy smile. We skip years into the future to see a boy awake on a bed. A puff of green hair shows on screen before a green empty eye show. Him getting ready, putting on a green tracksuit, red sneakers. Him walking out and hearing his parents arguing about each other's mistakes while piloting. His parents were the pilots of Green Dragon, but one of their comrades were killed while fighting 2 Category 4 kaijus. They kept criticizing each other's movements or quirk. He was amazed by 2 things: the fact that they were still married to each other, and how good their new link for each other was. He guessed they still had a small bit of love for each other. Midoriya walks out the house and puts on headphones, playing music before starting to run to Dagobah Beach. He finished cleaning it in 2 months. It was a pastime for him. it wasn't, well, one of his main goals. But anyway, he would just jog up and down the beach for as much as he can before going to the gym to do some weightlifting and running on a treadmill for 20 minutes. Before going home and looking up martial art videos on his computer and, well, memorizing them. You see, Midoriya's quirk allowed him to memorize it almost like a camera, where he would break down every move, searching for a flaw or, well, making it better. We skipped to see Midoriya once again jogging up and down the beach while the boy was watching him. He was the same age as Midoriya. He had blonde hair and what seemed to be dark, bluish purple eyes. He was closely observing Midoriya. Midoriya, on the other hand, paid no mind to the stranger watching him, only focusing on, well, his training. After all, the test to see if he would become a cadet was, well, it was in a week. Midoriya wouldn't want to screw up his one chance, so he had upped his training a lot more. After Midoriya was done training, we could see him jogging back home. He opened the door to see a quiet house, one of the very, well, rare things you'd see in his home. Midoriya, well, walks toward the kitchen to see a bowl of katsudan, one of the very few things he did really enjoy in this world, one thing that brought him hope and, well, happiness. He quickly, well, picked it up and walked to his room. He sat by his desk. He had decided to watch random videos when he came across a video about, well, Blazing Hope. The pilots were All Might and Endeavor. He watched the video. They were fighting a Category 4 kaiju. They were rushing at each other. That's when Blazing jumped into the air and, well, Superman punched the kaiju. It was sent to the ground, scrambling around, trying to get to its feet, but was, well, stunned when a flaming fist connected with its face. Well, there was, well, the most amazing part of the Jaegers were the fact that you could, well, integrate your quirk into, well, your attacks and the Jaeger itself. The kaiju had quickly, well, slumped after the attack. Blazing thought it was over, but Midoriya knew better. This tactic was often used in a street fight where you would play unconscious and wait when your opponent turned their back and deliver a, well, a devastating attack. And that's exactly what happened. Midoriya had noted a few things about the kaiju. One big spike had 6 legs and a tail. The tail was in, well, the shape of a glaive, used for more particular stabbing, almost like a spear. And it took advantage of its spear type-ish tail. It had stabbed the kaiju, well, the Jaeger, straight in its side. Luckily, Blazing had enough, well, time to bring up its fist and, well, activate, well, its flamethrower. It, well, quickly frying, well, the kaiju. Midoriya, well, was amazed by the fight. He knew that, well, Jaegers were, well, they were different breeds, to say. Midoriya, well, got up from his seat and, well, went to bed. Him was just mainly sitting down and quickly enjoying the sweet embrace of, well, slumber. Midoriya gets up and, well, we time skip another a week or so to the exam happening. Midoriya had merely asked his parents, well, he was about to ask his parents when a fight had broken out between them. Midoriya merely sighed and, well, walked to the door, opening it and deciding to, well, just jog to the test. Midoriya, when he arrived, he saw a couple of people. There he saw Bakugo, his, well, an old, well, childhood friend and rival. Midoriya quickly discarded the boy and, well, just started focusing on himself and his training. Bakugo, on the other hand, well, he wouldn't let Midoriya go that easily. He was almost like a stalker, to be precise. Whenever Midoriya was training, well, Bakugo tried to double what Midori was doing. It always resulting in Bakugo being tired as hell, and Midoriya, he was indifferent. So, Midoriya had done a little extra few things. He had stopped focusing on physical training and had just started study on the different type of kaijus. Two kaijus had caught his attention. Knife Head, a category 4 kaiju, one that had taken down one that had managed taking down Gypsy Danger. The pilot was Wiley Beckett and his brother. He was obviously amazed by this, and the other Jaeger was Striker Eureka. One the Jaeger that had blown itself up to close the breach. Midoriya idolized these two. He had one other he had one other Jaeger in mind, which was obviously Gypsy Avenger. The Jaeger being a bit more to its counterpart, a bit more lightweight. While Gypsy Danger had focused mainly on battle, Gypsy Avenger had focused a bit more on speed. Instead of their signature metal sword or blade, it had one plasma blade. And they had the same weapon, a plasma cannon, which was it was awesome to say the least to Midoriya. But yes, Midoriya had he had focused on other things except for physical training, like I just stated. So Midoriya noticed Bakugo and the other boy he had seen observing him while he was training. Midoriya obviously just looked to the side and went to where the test portion was going to take place. Midoriya arrived there a few minutes early and had just looked around. He had noticed one thing. He had seen the commander and the commander himself, Principal Nezu, observing Midoriya. Midoriya merely looked up at him before looking away and taking a seat. Him just sitting there until everyone, the other participants arrived. Midoriya started to take his test, and it was very, very easy, like everything else. Midoriya merely stood up and handed his test in before turning away and walking off. The second part of the test was going to be more physical, where they will put you up against more other participants, to say the least, to gauge your ability to handle fights. So one would play as a kaiju, while the other would play take the role as a Jaeger. Midoriya just sat there deep in thought and just going over a few of his martial arts. Midoriya had mainly taken interest in jiu-jitsu and karate. A few other ones caught his interest, like taekwondo. Yeah, the other one that caught his interest was taekwondo. Midoriya was amazed at how nimble they were with their feet and how fast they were. And that's when someone he received a tap on the shoulder to see back. As he looked back to see a girl with purple hair and what appeared to look like oxes on her earlobes. Midoriya stood up and asked her why she was tapping on him. Fiddling with him in his words, but the girl merely asked Midoriya why he was here so early, and Midoriya merely said that he had finished his test. Gio being amazed and obviously saying that in her asking where manners is and introducing herself as Kyoka Jiro. Midoriya introducing himself as Izuku Midoriya. After that, they had a short conversation, and that's when people started to walk in. Midoriya quickly ending the conversation and walking off into a more secluded part of the test. Midoriya had, he had noticed one thing, and that's when, one of the, more assistant to the commander walked in. This being, Aizawa. Shota Aizawa. Midoriya noted the man's tired look and, black hair and the scar under his eye. Midoriya obviously standing up and walking towards the more crowded areas. And that's when Shota gathered everyone's attention. Him introducing himself as Shota Aizawa and saying that this part of the test was going to be a more physical type of one. Him saying that one person was to play as a Jaeger and one will take on the role as a kaiju. Midoriya obviously being interested, and him thinking that they were going to merely do some tests like jumping and gouging each other's strengths, not a physical confrontation. Midoriya had dozed off a bit more into his own land, to say the least. That's when Aizawa quickly started to call our names, and that's when one rang through. Izuku Midoriya versus Katsuki Bakugo. Katsuki quickly looking around, trying to spot Izuku, and that's when he saw him. He quickly walks over to the boy and grabs his hand and drags him to the front. Bakugo quickly releasing his grip on Izuku and walking to the other side of the mat. Izuku obviously was just sighing at this and him thinking to himself, I had won every other fight we had. Is he really trying his luck again? Bakugo gaining a devilish grin on his face and entering what appeared to be a type of boxer stance. Him quickly bringing his guard up and throwing a few jabs. Midoriya obviously him lowering himself to the ground a bit more, with mainly him planning to use Taekwondo. Bakugo lunged forward at Midoriya, attempting to throw a straight punch at him, when Midoriya merely dodged and delivered a quick kick to Bakugo's face. Oh wow, hold on. Ooh shit. Sorry for that. Bakugo had backed off a bit more and had lowered his guard and he had tightened his guard a bit more. Him once again rushing towards Midoriya, when Midoriya merely delivered a swift back kick. To Bakugo's gut. This sending Bakugo to the ground a bit more, and that's when Midoriya quickly went up to Bakugo, grabbed his head, and he kneed Bakugo in the face, to say the least. Bakugo dropping to the ground like a sack of potatoes once again. Midoriya brought his he brought his his foot down on Bakugo's head when he was swiftly stopped by Shota saying that the fight was over. Midoriya stopped inches away from Bakugo's face before merely turning around and walking back towards the more secluded part of the test. And after that, everything had went by at a flash for Midoriya, him not really paying attention to anything else. Him merely trying to gouge and just wondering to himself on how Kyoga was doing. Him sighing and asking himself why he was thinking of such trivial things. Him gaining a bit more of a flashback to the more dangerous fight his parents had. Midoriya was at the age of 9 when Midoriya had heard just screaming and a bottle breaking. Midoriya merely sighed and tried to tune his parents out. Midoriya's quirk had a very bad side to it. Midoriya's quirk allowed him to him being able to store anything like a camera taking a picture. That's why I said, well, photographic memory. And with photographic memory comes the downside of not being able to easily forget about anything. Or forget about anything, that is. So, Midori remembered all the good things and, all the bad things. Midori merely sighed before, he had heard one thing, that the test was officially over and for everyone to just go back home. Midori sighed and walked back home before entering his house to once again hear his parents arguing. Midori sighed and merely walked back to his room before closing the door and walking over to his bed. Him lying down on it, and that's when he started to hear rain tapping against his window. Midoriya grew a faint smile and started to think to himself that he had always liked the rain. It was almost as if the cloud had felt the same way he did. Sad. And so yeah, this is where I'm gonna end it off. So bye.